his memos getting to the president. That's the big secret. They got to stop my information in those memos getting to the president. I don't know how much Stone can say, but this is huge. Roger Stone, thank you for joining us. I know you've just rushed back to D.C. this morning. You just got there. You're leaving your hotel to have key meetings right after this interview. You just checked in, so I know you've got to hurry. Please give us your info, and again, watch your back.
Thank you very much, Alex. It's interesting that yesterday, the attorney Larry Klayman predicted that I would be targeted for annihilation as part of the Trump takedown. I am not afraid. I'm actually here to meet with other Trump loyalists in a new group that we have founded, the membership of which is secret, but we call it the 45 group because we're prepared to protect and defend our 45th president. We have learned definitively that Israeli intelligence has intercepted communications from General Mcmaster to George Soros, reporting on a regular basis on the reorganization of the White House and what is going on inside the Oval Office. I have double-checked this with two different sources very high up in Israeli intelligence. I actually expect the ambassador to Israel, from Israel to the United States, may be confirming this for news organizations this afternoon. This is not surprising because, as you know, Alex, we first reported here that a woman named Fiona Hill, who actually once worked for Soros and the Open Society operation, had been brought into the White House by Mcmaster specifically to handle.
And by the way, she was a director of large operations, which interface with other foreign governments and intelligence agencies. So this is the big multinational breakaway group, his Open Society group, where they recruit people out of other intelligence agencies into this multinational group to engage in treason.
This one I think is not easy to explain. Under what circumstances, in what universe, would Donald Trump's national security advisor be briefing George Soros, a sworn enemy of the Trump administration, a globalist, who has demonstrated again and again that he's prepared to break the law and utilize violence to try to achieve his goals?
And why not? He never gets in trouble. Not when he was selling out his fellow Jews and helping round them up. Not when he overthrew all these governments. Not when he funded the Arab Spring. He's had a vampiric life of delightful carnage.
So the Mcmaster problem is a real one. I do want to make one correction. I said inadvertently yesterday in our report that it was Steve Bannon who called Matt Drudge and asked him not to run the Mcmaster stories regarding Susan Rice. I misspoke. That was incorrect. It was Jared Kushner, the president's son-in-law, who asked Drudge not to run the Mcmaster stories. I can also tell you that while Sean Spicer and Reince Priebus had worked very hard to make sure that the presidential news summary did not include anything published or put forward by the Daily Caller, Breitbart, Infowars.com, Town Hall, and a number of other excellent alternative sites.
And by the way, we reported this weeks ago. It's now confirmed. There's a blacklist of Trump's hardline supporters that are Americana, that are tried and true, and that are exposing Mcmaster, purging anybody exposing the fact that he's in bed with Soros and Islamicists.
Well, and again, this headline's a perfect example. It's a misnomer. In order to secure a statement from the president supporting Mcmaster, they essentially dissembled saying some people, not conservatives, not Trump supporters, some people are attacking Mcmaster because he's not sufficiently pro-Israel, Mr. President. So would you put out a statement saying he's a friend of Israel? And of course, the president complied. Now that gets used as a blanket endorsement of Mcmaster's activities. But I can tell you for an absolute fact that the president was not briefed on the fact that Mcmaster gave Susan Rice a pass, said there was nothing wrong with her engaging in political espionage, and that he extended her security, her national security clearance. The president was not told these things within the context of the attack on Mcmaster. So he is being manipulated. Let me tell you something. He hates being manipulated. They're not going to be successful in cutting him out. They're not going to be successful in isolating him, because he will break out. He will call old friends. He will call key supporters. He will call those he knows were with him from the beginning. And the first time the president learns something that he should have been told by his handlers, but he wasn't, there will be hell to pay.
I've noticed that pattern, that when he's given good info, but learns that it was blocked from him, he particularly acts on the info they've tried to keep from him. Especially when it's from tried and true sources that continue to have the real sixth sense of what's going on. Let's play a clip of Fox Sunday with this reporter on there, this Charles Hurt, bemoaning the fact that will they be successful in isolating the president. Here it is.
Mcmaster has, I believe, 3 stars on his shoulder, but his military bearing hasn't protected him from a campaign of vicious leaks coming from people within the White House who regard him as sort of a sellout on foreign policy. Kelly has to get, he's got his hands on that problem right now. And I think a lot of people inside the staff are looking to see if he can really get control of it. Because if he can, well, then I think he'll have established his authority and people will do what he says. But if somehow people find ways to work around even John Kelly, if the back channeling directly to the president and sending him memos that, reflect the latest Alex Jones conspiracy theory continues, then I think Kelly still has a problem on his hands.
And so,
Roger, I want to get back to Soros, because it's proven that Mcmaster is in bed with the groups that are working for the open society, the world government, and that Soros is kind of the cutout that multinationals use to carry this out. But specifically, you've not wanted to build up your contact, and neither have I, and the memos and the rest of it. But not just from this guy. I mean, they know what's going on, and I don't know how much we can say or how much we can get into, dealing with all this. But people just need to understand. We continue to break huge news like Priebus going to be fired by the weekend and who was going to replace him, because we do have the highest level sources. And it's not just about us having sources. It's that they really are on Capitol Hill trying to sell the idea of overthrowing the president, drugging him, saying he collapsed, killing him. They're looking at seizing the media. They're looking at shutting off Sean Hannity as soon as this happens, Rush Limbaugh, Matt Drudge. I mean, there's no selling out to this. They're not giving us quarter, and they're going to come after our jobs, the economy. These are horrible people. This is a multinational group that wants to bankrupt the country, to buy it up for pennies on the dollar. We're under total war attack. And we need to see the president move very strongly against this outside multinational threat. And I get it's outrageous we've got a double agent like Mcmaster clearly in there. But, you're talking to the highest levels, confirming they're monitoring people's communications. Other governments are. And to the foreign government's, horror, here's Mcmaster with briefings and taking orders. I mean, just like General Jones, who's not a bad guy in some ways, but did say I get my orders every day from Henry Kissinger. That was treasonous. But this isn't Kissinger. At least he's in a what we're